Hello everyone, my name is Russ Grease, and today I'm going to be telling you some stuff about Stan Myers, and it is very important information that I have found out from some of his older patents that I have personally never seen before. A couple days ago I found these while looking up the gas core transformer. The patents I'm going to be talking about are patent number CA, it's a Canadian patent, 1213671. Make sure I got that right. I may have said it wrong. The other patent I'm talking about is patent number 4, it's a US patent, 4613304. Right there. Now the information I'm going to tell you is so important I cannot stress enough. So what I need you to do right now is go down to the description of this video, and I've posted a link to an actual downloadable video link posted on a server that you guys need to download and re-upload on your channel. Do that right now before you even watch this video, because I'm afraid this video is going to be gone. My information, my YouTube channel, in case you're watching this video on someone else's channel, is RWG42985. That's my YouTube. My email is rwg42985@aol.com. Try to contact me if you'd like. If I don't get back with you right away, I do apologize. But you have full rights to post this video anywhere you'd like, and to chop this video up if you need to fit it on your channel, and post it on all the servers you can. And if you're in any groups at all, mass email this information to people. I'm not kidding. This is seriously important information, and I'm going to go through it right now. I'm going to go through these patents. A guy by the name of Craig Westbrook actually went up and saw Stan's water car, and him and a group of people, and he states some information that he has personally seen that comes out of these patents as well, that totally is going to blow you guys' minds. So I cannot stress enough, this is so important for you guys to pass this information along, and do it right now. Alright, let's get started. So the first patent I'm going to talk about is the Canadian patent. Again, there's the number. The patent is called Electrical Particle Generator. Alright, and it's basically an accelerator, a particle accelerator. And Alex Petty posted this on his blog. I told you guys about this. And the patent I will be posting in the description. I'll put the patents in there. I believe, not 100% sure, but I believe that some of the notes that are handwritten on there, like this page here, are, I believe, Alex Petty's notes. I could be wrong, do not quote me on that. But this second patent is the most important piece of this puzzle, but you have to read the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And basically, I'm going to just read some of the highlighted stuff, and you can go through there and do this research for yourself. Excuse me reading this stuff. I'm not the best. I'm a builder, not a reader. Abstract. This is what it's supposed to do. An electrical particle generator comprising of a non-magnetic pipe and a closed loop having a subsequential amount of magnetized particles encapsulated there within. A magnetic accelerator assembly positioned on a said pipe having an inductive primary winding and low voltage input to said winding. So it's a low voltage input. A secondary winding positioned on a said pipe opposing the said primary winding. So it's on the opposite side of the primary, the secondary is, like a loop. Upon voltage being applied to the said primary winding, the magnetized particles are passed through a said magnetic accelerator assembly with increased velocity. So it's literally a particle accelerator. And it's just using standard coils. Now the particles, that's what's interesting. That's what I need to figure out. I've got most of it marked here. I'll keep going. The velocity accelerated particles continue through the said pipe and induce an electrical voltage / current potential as they pass through the secondary winding. The increased secondary voltage is utilized in an amplifier arrangement. Alright? So basically, you've got standard coil that has a core in the middle of it, and you can magnetize that core, and a transformer has 2 of them on there. Let me just get one. Alright, here's a standard transformer. Okay, in the gas core transformer, this iron core, which is looped like this, is going to be a non-magnetic pipe. Now what I found out is that it's in the newer patent is that the magnetic pipe is supposed to be non-magnetic and not copper or aluminum. It has to be some sort of a plastic, I would think. Now I'm going to show you some stuff that's going to be real interesting later with some pictures of Stan Meyer's estate as well. And we'll get to that. But basically, this would be a pipe, and there'd be magnetic particles going through here, and you are basically super energizing those particles and speeding up velocity. So when they go through the secondary, usually magnetic flux is in this core, but in this application the magnetic flux is in the particles. So it's actually going around the core, and it is the flux carrier of this particular device. So even though it's a non-magnetic core, by magnetizing the particles within here, you are actually inducing voltage into your secondary. And that is super important. I honestly think that that is one of the key components to Stan Meyer's work. Nobody knew it. Nobody understands it. So I'm going to explain it to you. Alright, let's keep going. It says a non-magnetic pipe having a closed loop, having a subsequential or some stanal, can't read, sorry, amount of magnetized particles encapsulated there within. Okay. So you got a pipe with particles in it moving around. The primary voltage inductive winding with a low voltage input. The secondary winding comprised of a greater number of turns than the primary. So it's a step-up transformer in this patent. The primary inductive winding and core are positioned around the first position on an endless closed loop non-magnetic pipe. Now in this patent it keeps saying non-magnetic, but in the later patent it actually tells you it cannot be a conductive material either. And that's interesting because I'm going to show you some pictures that are kind of weird. And they look like copper, so I'll show you. The secondary windings, alright, it says here, the secondary windings are positioned around an opposite position of the said endless pipe. So basically, just like this, except you have a non-magnetic pipe in between these cores, or the coils, I should say. It says the magnetic elements are particles and preferably gas. Now it also talks about solids and liquids, but preferably gas, it says here. As the particles approach the accelerator assembly, the primary coil in the field therein attracts the particles and accelerates the particles to enter the gap of the coil. As the magnetic elements proceed, the repulsion end of the accelerator will impart further magnetic force to the particles. So basically the particles are being sucked in here and they're being drawn in and shoved out, and the velocity speeds up. Now that's another interesting thing. Hydroxy, or hydrogen and oxygen gases can be in many different states. Solid, liquid, plasma. So it's possible that this is a plasma core transformer. Real quick, I'm going to show you the drawings so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because it's kind of confusing. Basically, that's what it looks like. Alright, the primary and the secondary. Okay, and the particles are accelerating, they're being sucked in here and pushed out here, and then being induced, the current's being induced in this coil here. Alright, so that's what it looks like. That's just a standard drawing. I'm going to show you some other drawings that are very interesting. It's in the patent. If you want, go download the patent now. It's a link in the description, or you can look at it, find it online, and read this stuff with me. Alright, let's see. So it says the magnetic elements pass through the core of the secondary winding. There is induced a voltage therein. In this way, a much greater voltage is induced in the secondary winding of the transformer. Now, the key word there is voltage. It doesn't say anything about amperage. But let's keep going. It is principal objective. Oh, it is principle objective of the present invention to provide an electrical generator capable of producing a voltage/current much greater in magnitude hereintofor possible. Okay, that statement right there, bottom yellow one. Pause the video and read that. Basically, it's saying that you're going to be able to get a greater voltage and current in magnitude, basically I never thought before possible. Okay, that right there is hinting towards something that will sustain itself while it's running. Let's keep going. Let's see. It just talks about you can use direct current, alternating current, pulsed, or other configuration of waveforms. So it's a universal transformer, which is genius. That means you can build one, and you can put anything into it you'd like, and the output would be close. Let's see. Again, it just says closed loop magnetic pipe. It does not say what kind of pipe, copper, aluminum, plastic. It doesn't say. It also says the magnetic accelerator assembly comprises primary windings, a magnetic core, and voltage taps. So it's almost like the primary winding is wrapped on some sort of a magnetic core. It's kind of what it's saying there. Alright, here it talks about the elements within the gas core transformer, and it says the elements must be significantly light to be freely mobile. Therefore, the elements may be particles suspended in a fluid medium, such as liquid gas or lightweight movable solid particles, and more preferably gas. So, obviously he's tried them all, and gas works the best, but they all do function. The magnetized elements are discrete. Alright, the magnetized elements are discrete elements. That is, each particle or minuscule part therefore is separately magnetized. Alright, which basically means the particles are individually magnetized. That's what I'm getting out of that. Each particle and not upon the mass. So that means not the whole mass going through it, but each individual particle is being magnetized. Alright, the voltage applied to terminal 16 of the primary winding is low voltage. And then later it says the output of the secondary transformer is a high voltage / current output. So you're putting in low voltage and getting high voltage, high current out. Again, that applies to something that will sustain itself, which is what I'm getting to. Yeah, serious deep information here. Hang in there with me. Get to the good stuff. Increasing the number of coils with a given size winding, the voltage current output is increased. A large diameter pipe can be used with a substantial number of turns of heavy gauge high current wire. So basically you could get some serious amps out of this thing. Let's see. With particular reference to figure 5, there is illustrated a coil arrangement that utilizes the entire magnetic flux in a closed loop tubing. Alright, I'm going to show you what figure 5 looks like. This is going to blow your mind. If you've never seen these patents, this is going to blow your mind. This is figure 5. Alright, now check this out. I'm going to show you something. Alright, so this is Stan Meyer's Estate video. These are online. You can go look them up. Stan Meyer's Estate. Now here's what's interesting. Alright, that and that. Nobody's seen these before. Nobody's heard of these before. If you have, it's awesome, but most people have not. These are not in standard documents out there with Stan's work. Let me play the video here. This is a pump. Okay? A pump. And it's pumping the gases through here. The first version had a pump which pumped the gases through the core instead of using a magnetic field to push it through the core. Alright, let's keep going.
Systems, different styles.
Alright, this is another one. And it looks like it has some sort of a heat dissipation in here. Either there's a coil in here, that's the accelerator, or there is so much heat going through this, as in a plasma gas, think about it, that it's got to be cooled because it gets too hot. Right, let's keep going. Okay, here's another one. I have not spent a whole lot of time looking at this one, but you can see the same thing. This is a coil of pipes. Okay, look, here's another picture of another patent. This is figure 6. Now, come on, guys. Look. What? That is that. Alright, so he is, you know, this is not just an invention that hasn't been built. No, this thing works. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, guys, I paused the video again on this. Back to what I was saying. With particular reference to figure 5, there is illustration of a coil arrangement that utilizes the entire magnetic flux in the closed loop system. That means there's magnetic particles accelerating in this closed loop right here, and there's a coil. You can see the coil wrapped around this. These actually look like individual coils. I cannot tell, but those look like individual coils. And in his later patent, you actually see individual coils, just like this, hooked up in series or parallel, depending on what kind of output voltage you want. Okay, so this is some heavy-duty stuff right here. This is the most important patent and information of the whole work of Stan Myers, in my opinion. From now up to my research right now, that's what I'm saying. Alright, guys, let's keep going because I got some serious information to tell you guys. Alright, just like I was saying. Alright, so just as I showed you in that video what that looks like, there's another one here. It says in figure 9, illustrated mechanical particle accelerator, which is what that red, let me just show you, it's what that red, that is. That's a pump. That's an electrical, like, air pump. Alright, and picture they are talking about, the illustration, looks like this. There's your pump. Alright, and boom. He's just pumping particles through there, magnetized particles, and picking up voltage on the output. Alright, it says the magnetic particles are permanently magnetized prior to being encapsulated in the non-magnetic pipe. So basically it's a closed pipe. The particles are magnetically, permanently magnetized, put in this pipe, and continuously ran through this. So it can be a closed loop system. You don't have to constantly put things into it. If you're not going to burn the gas, you can make this a closed loop system. Alright, this is just some amazing information. Alright, let's see. Now here's what I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It says in figure 10, which is this one. This is an early staged, basically, what looks to be like a hydrolysis chamber. Okay, or an electrolysis chamber. Alright, here's what it says about that. There is an illustrated apparatus, which doesn't really mean it's his apparatus, it just means it's the one that's in the book, carrying out the purpose of vaporizing material into vaporized particles and thereafter magnetizing the particles by subjecting them to a magnetic field. So it looks like Alex or somebody, I believe, has something here that says permanent magnets right here. So as the gases, whatever gases these are, I don't truly think these are just hydrogen and oxygen. I believe this is some sort of a, well, it says later it's like a plasma arc in between these two electrodes, and it's actually like a fog or a steam and hydrogen and oxygen all mixed together. That's what I believe that this is showing, because it's not a standard fuel cell where you've just got electrolysis going on. No, there's an actual, like, electrical gap that must be jumped. Alright, so I'm assuming that it's more than just electrolysis. That's the key. All right, it's got to be, because there's so much more information here that may answer. All right, and also he's got written in here oxygen, hydrogen gas pass through 5,000 G field, question mark, which would be a magnetic field. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, here again, these are the parts I need your help with. This is very important, and I need your help with this. It says, upon the application of powering, upon the application of power to the magnetizable material, electrodes 160 and 162. Let me show you what that is again. All right, 160 and 162. You see that? Those are the electrodes inside that chamber. It says the tip of the electrodes in the spark gap will vaporize into particles. Okay, now here's what's interesting. And I just thought of this right now. Discovering things before. This does not have water in it. Or it does not look like it has water in it. This is literally plasma. And what is plasma? An iodized gas? So this is iodized gas, possibly. This is where I need your help, because this is the part that I'm missing. This is it. Okay, I just figured that out. As the particles progress in movement, they pass between the magnetic field generator 175, which is that. Now that could be a coil or permanent magnets. We don't really know what that is. Okay. Further down it says a low voltage was applied to the particle accelerator. Upon accelerating, a high voltage, high current would be induced in the secondary pickup coil. Okay, so it states right there, low voltage was applied to the particle accelerator, which would be the primary, and upon acceleration, a high voltage current would be induced in the secondary pickup coil. Which would mean a step-up transformer, and it does say voltage/current, not just voltage. And then here a little bit later it says, the most significant advantage of the present invention is that the voltage amplification is irrespective to the wave shape of input voltage. Now, the statement is interesting, as in that it says it's a voltage amplification. Okay, and it just states that the wave shape is the same, but the amplage voltification, okay, the keywords that I'm picking out there. Alright, although certain embodiments have been shown, it is to be understood modifications may be had without departing from the spirit and scope of the invention. I believe that's... No, it's not the last statement before the claims. But basically what that means is that it could be improved. This isn't the final decision. This is just the beginning of what he's building. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, a little bit later it says in the claims, it says to provide a low input voltage and said secondary winding having the means for tapping a high voltage/current for utilization. So you're inputting a low voltage again there, it says, and a high current output. Okay. Later, it just says you could use gas, liquid, or solid as the particle accelerator. So, again, you can have multiple forms of this type of gas. Alright, particle accelerator further. Okay, a little bit later here it says, and wherein said magnetized elements are permanently magnetized elements. And basically, in some of the diagrams here, it shows the particle accelerator, which would be inducing magnetic flux into the particles, and then they're dark colored, and then once you get to the secondary, they turn white, which means they lost some of their flux. It was induced into this coil. Alright, that's what I'm gathering from this. But if you look at the pump, all the same colored particles all the way around, because they're not using a primary coil to super energize that gas. Okay? So you gotta remember that. when it says permanently magnetized elements, that depends on what you're doing, I assume. Magnetizable. Okay, now here it talks about the type of magnetizable material, which is the last picture on this patent. Okay, which does not look like an electrolysis chamber. It looks like a plasma arc chamber. Alright, and it says, an assembly for providing a magnetized particle for utilization and an electrical particle generator comprising a chamber and a pair of magnetizable material electrodes positioned therein, a source of voltage/current of opposing polarity applied to said electrodes, said magnetizable material becoming vaporized upon the application of said voltage current in the said electrodes. So I just figured this out right now. It's great. Basically, he's using something that it's a metal, and when you cause a plasma arc across it, what happens? You eat at that metal and it turns into a vapor. That's the vapor he's putting into this. Alright, and that's important information. That's it. I'll show you this diagram real quick. It's interesting. This is the input and the output. And basically he's got a little coil here with a little input sine wave, and a big coil here with a big sine wave output. So it's a step-up transformer. Okay. Alright, look at this patent for yourself and read through it, please. And now let's go into this very important patent that I've never seen before and have not heard anybody discuss before. Okay. Now, this is what's going to be interesting. This is just unbelievable. Alright. Just real quick, I'm going to show you something that's just going to blow your mind. In this patent, patent number 4613304, U.S. patent number, it states, this is under the objectives on page, it doesn't say, it's column 1. It says, it is a principal objective of the present invention to provide a hydrogen gas electrical generator capable of producing a voltage/current much greater in magnitude hereinto possible. Self-sustaining. Alright. That's what it's saying. Here's what it looks like. This is basically what this is. It's actually probably more like... Oh, no, it is that one. See the pump? Here is the pump in this system. Right here. Alright, and then in the next picture, the next diagram, here, this is a primary coil and secondary pickup coils. This is the particle accelerator instead of a pump. Alright.
Different styles.
So here and here could be the primary coils. This right here. Now if you look, it's got multiple coils. Can you see that? And to get AC out with a, I'm not sure what the input is here, we'll figure that out. With an AC signal, with the windings in series and going back and forth, which is what I believe each one of these is. Each one of these is a coil. I cannot confirm that because I cannot tell. Maybe someone else can that has seen this, like Craig. Here it shows DC output, and these windings are in parallel. Okay? So it depends on what you want. But this pipe right here, this 50, is that coil. Is this coil inside there, and these little coils are outside here. Each one of these is a coil. That way you can put them on there instead of trying to wrap the whole thing. So you're utilizing 100% of the gas flow as an output. So this is your input. Look at the coil size. This is your input, is what it looks like. I cannot tell. It looks like this would be your input. Look at your output.